it's me. I haven't been on this platform in a little while. A lot's changed. It's been a little while since I filmed. I'm probably about a month or so late for my 12-month update, but that is the whole purpose of this video, to give you a 12-month update of my boobs, and I'm very, very happy with them. I have written myself a list, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, the first question I kept getting asked, which I did mention in my last video, but I was very high from my surgery when I answered the question. So, first question, what size, what implants did I get? So I got the Mentor brand, I got 330 cc's, I got textured anatomical implants, but I also got fat grafting. So I got 40 mils of fat in either side. So my surgeon took fat from my donor location, which was my lower belly. So they used basically a thick filler needle in the bottom of my belly button, which I'll show you the scar soon, to take the fat, and then he put it kind of on the inside here and on the outside here. So because I didn't have a lot before my surgery, I was probably about an 8A maybe on a good day. He didn't want them to look really stuck on. I'm sure you've seen it when girls get their boobs done and they don't have a lot, and it's just kind of like ribs in the middle. So that was the purpose of me getting fat grafting, and yes, I did pay a pretty penny for it. Another thing I wanted to note, which was commented on my last video, yes, there are risks of anatomical implants, like flipping or turning. I don't think it happens very often, but my particular surgeon, which I will note was Dr. Miroshnik in Sydney, and he is fabulous, and his team, everyone, I could not complain, cannot any more highly recommend him. But he uses what's called like an internal bra. So from my understanding, he stitches kind of from this part of your cleavage line all the way along the bottom to kind of hold the implant in place, which is why I almost never wear bras, because I kind of don't need to, because they just stay. I also did wear, I was very, very strict with wearing my compression bra. So I wore my compression bras for the full first 8 weeks. The only time I took them off was to have a shower. I've grabbed one of them out just to show you what they look like. So mine were included in my surgery price, which I'll talk about soon. You can't really see it. Oh, there we go. So they've got like eye hooks all the way along the front. They're super, super stretchy. I got a white one and a black one. Kind of wish I got a nude, but it worked and it wasn't that big of a deal. I wasn't really fussed by it. But yeah, so wore that, braced back. Mine were really comfortable. I got really lucky with the ones that my surgeon used, because I know a couple of other girls that got their surgery done, and theirs were a bit different. They were more like a sports bra kind of thing with a zip at the front, and I know a couple of their zips busted. So if you can get these ones, try. I don't even know the brand. Carefix, if that's any help at all. And mine were a medium, and I definitely couldn't have gone any smaller. I also got dual plane. So what dual plane is you have two chest muscles. You have a bottom chest muscle and a top chest muscle. So I got my implants under the top muscle but over the bottom muscle. So I didn't get completely under the muscle, because there is a lot of, the healing is a lot longer and more painful from my understanding, and I didn't get them over the muscle. So if and when I choose to, I'm still able to breastfeed, because they are behind all the milk ducts and all of that good stuff to be able to do that. The size I ended up with, like I said before surgery, I was about an 8A. I ended up being, so now I'm about an 8DD or an 8E, depending on the bra. So a good example, Honey Birdette, I usually wear 8DDs in their non-padded and 8Es in their padded bras. But I do have like a regular everyday t-shirt bra from Bras and Things, and that is an E, because I was absolutely spilling out of the double D. Another comment that was put on my last video, or two comments which I'll touch on now, someone said never leave it completely up to your surgeon. I just want to note, I had seen 2 surgeons before seeing Dr. Miroshnik, and I've done a lot of research for years, because I've been wanting this surgery since I was like 17. From the day that I realized they weren't growing anymore, I started looking into it. And it took me years to finally settle on a surgeon, and I kept going back to Dr. Miroshnik. The first surgeon I saw wasn't super confident. The second surgeon I saw, which was Dr. Tave, not shitting on him, just preface, I just didn't feel like he was the right fit for me. I left feeling really anxious, really unsure about what I wanted. I walked into Dr. Miroshnik's office. I'd already sent him photos, reference photos of the kind of look that I wanted, and my words to him were, I want the best natural fake boobs you've ever seen. He was like, great, know exactly what you want, which I feel like I ended up with. One thing I wanted to touch on, which I did mention in my last video, sometimes I wish I went a bit bigger, but almost everyone I know always says to me, oh my god, no way, they're perfect for your size. So when I say in my last video, I left it up to my surgeon, I told him what I wanted, he stood me in front of a mirror, explained everything to me. It wasn't just like, oh, I'll just do it. He explained everything that he was going to do, told me he was going to take a 330cc and a 375cc into surgery and try them on, and then pick my size from there. I said, great, you've done thousands of these surgeries, I'll leave it up to you because you're going to be the person who's going to know what's going to look best on me. Which, personally, I think he picked a pretty good size. Another thing I want to touch on too is breast implant illness. So because I got a textured implant, I know there's a lot out there about them being a more risky implant to choose because it is possible that in the really micro textured, like dot kind of texture on the implant, bacteria can get stuck between those and cause breast implant illness. I don't feel like my implants have affected my health personally. I don't know what the statistics on it are of how often you can get that kind of stuff, but I just thought I'd touch on it and make you aware. Do your own research. Please do your own research. I know there's less risks in getting smooth implants, but this is what I chose for myself, and I'm not telling you have to get the same. Another question, which I've had people ask me more personally in my day-to-day life and people messaging me on Instagram and stuff like that, the price. Now, I know I did pay more than the typical price. I know the price tag usually sits around 10 grand. I personally, which I don't regret because I love them, I paid $18,000 for mine. I know it's a lot of money. I had a lot of people tell me, that's ridiculous, Neve, why the fuck are you paying that much? But I'm really happy, and I figured for myself, because I didn't have a lot to work with already, I had not a lot of natural breast tissue to kind of work the implants into, I wanted to do it right the first time. So because Dr. Miroshnik is a plastic surgeon, not is it cosmetic surgeon? Correct me if I'm wrong. But he does cost more because he is more educated. Basically how it works. And then I paid an extra 3 grand, so that was 15. The flat rate's about, I think it's like 14,995 or something ridiculous. And then I paid an extra 3 grand on top of the regular surgery fee for the fat grafting, which again I don't regret because I think it made a really big difference for me personally. And it's like the sides are quite soft, so I'll get into that in a sec. But the top of my boobs are what I did have of my natural breast tissue. The sides are like the natural fat that he took from me, and the bottom is my implant. So the bottom is more firm, but I mean, it's really only me that has to worry about that. So in terms of how they've softened up, and obviously over time, it takes a solid 12 months for your boobs to fully settle into where they would be, which I can say is very true. So at the 6-month point where I started to, in my last video, they had started to soften up quite a lot. But now, like, they actually, like, they jiggle now. And I noticed that at around the 8 months post-op mark. So I'm now about 13 months post-op because I got them done February of 2022, and it is now March 2023. Yeah, around the 8-month mark, I noticed they settled in a lot more. Like, they dropped a lot more. They weren't sitting as high. They were much softer. Like, it became much more comfortable to even do things like lay on my stomach. Like, I can actually get a massage now comfortably, when before it was kind of a bit like they felt like they were in the way, if that makes sense. But yeah, now they're much softer. I can wear more things. Like I can wear a bra, like push-up bra if I wanted to comfortably, when before, because the scars and everything and where the internal stitches were was kind of still healing, it wasn't as comfortable. But they are much, much softer now, as I'm sure you can tell. Sorry, I'm just like sitting here playing with my titties. Sorry, reading my notes. Oh, pain was another thing. So my surgeon did say to me, Dr. Miroshnik and his team said to me, it is normal to get kind of like pinching, stinging, kind of like nerve kind of pain, which I did notice. I mentioned pain in the last video of how they were healing in the first few months, but since then I've had kind of a couple pinches, couple pains here and there, kind of a couple like, I don't know if you know what a nerve pain feels like, that like pinching, stabbing, I don't want it to sound scary though, pains behind my nipples, but obviously that's again just everything healing, everything settling in, everything like kind of remapping itself in there. But other than that, I haven't had too much pain. I did recently get, because I thought I felt a bit of a lump, I guess, in this side, which seemed to be causing me a little bit of pain, but I had a scan, I had an ultrasound, the sonographer said everything looked normal, and any like texture that's up in there on the ultrasound is all normal. She said obviously you more than likely are going to get a little bit of rippling, which I've noticed. You can't see it at all, but if I feel them like here, it's nothing major, but obviously from how they were like solid, I've started to feel a little bit of rippling on the inside and outside. But the sonographer said she's done hundreds of ultrasounds on breast implants, and that's really normal because obviously they've got to get crammed in there somewhere. So I know it can happen. I've seen people and you can actually see the rippling. Maybe that will happen to me over time, but right now you can't see it. You can't really feel it unless you're looking for it, so I'm not too fussed. Another thing I forgot to mention in terms of how they feel, laying down, I will say they still can feel weird when I lay down, but obviously, like I said, there's 2 pieces of plastic roaming around in your skin, so they are going to feel a bit weird sometimes. I can lay on my side, it just does feel a little bit weird. I used to sleep kind of like side belly, you know what I'm saying, with a leg up. I can't really sleep like that anymore. I have woken up a few times like that, more so again in the last couple of months as they're getting more and more comfortable. But yes, can lay on my side, can lay on my belly, sometimes feels a bit weird. Everyone has a personal preference. I know some girls have no issues with it, just for me feels odd. But yeah, mostly sleep on my back on my side, but I can sleep on my side and I don't have an issue with it. Just thought I'd mention that. Another question I often get is, what do they feel like at the gym? So I'm the kind of person, I go to gym usually about 4 days a week, train lower, train upper, train all of it. Everything but chest. I will not train chest, you'll never see me training it. Which is something that kind of, I've noticed when I train back, I can kind of get some pulling. So I don't know if you'll be able to, you can kind of see there, if I was to tense my chest, like kind of squeeze my arms in, they do kind of separate a little bit, like that. So I notice when I train back, I really have to make sure, say lat pull downs is a great example. I really have to make sure I latch, like really pull my scaps in before pulling. Otherwise, if you let your chest kind of take over, you can kind of get like a separating feeling. Other than that, I think when I first started training, it was more of just getting used to what was now my norm. Because obviously it is a thing, a foreign object in your skin, in your body, you can feel them moving. Probably up until somewhere between the 8 and 12 month mark, I still kind of had that, but now they just feel like part of me now, if that makes sense. But other than that, gym is fine, I don't have any issues with it, I just don't train chest. Because if you train chest, your chest muscles will obviously get stronger and pull the implants apart. Don't know about you, didn't pay that much money to not take care of them. I'll get into the scar healing after I've kind of answered everything else, and then I'll show you and explain. But just my general thoughts. I am really happy. I'm really glad I got it done. I have absolutely no regrets. I couldn't imagine not having them now. It is something that I know people get them to give them confidence, which is the wrong thing to do. If you think having 2 pieces of plastic in your chest are going to make you confident, it's not. It has helped with my confidence. I feel more myself, but don't get me wrong, my confidence didn't bump from here to skyrocket, okay? Don't think that plastic or titties are going to make you happy. Got to do the work. Got to do the work. But other than that, just saying, I am very happy with them. They're nice and squishy now, nice and soft, which I'm sure you can tell. And I'll show you in a minute with a bikini top on so you can see better. But yeah, super, super happy with it. Could not recommend Dr. Miroshnik enough. His team is fantastic. Their care is great. If I have any questions, I just pick up the phone and call them, and they're really lovely. Again, if there's anything else that I've missed, have a question, comment it and I will answer it. I always check and answer my comments. My scars. My scars were still lumpy up until, again, probably around that 8-month mark. 8-month mark, my gosh. In the last 3 to 4 months, they've changed again completely. My scars aren't anywhere near as red as they used to be. They're a lot more smooth now. They don't hurt to kind of like move around, because while the stitches and internal stitches, well, only internal stitches, were still healing, they would kind of hurt to pull on if I laid funny or anything like that. Yeah, they'd feel kind of, I don't know how to explain it. They just felt weird. Okay, got the top on. First of all, this is Cali Swim, and it's one of my favorite bikinis ever, just saying. As you can see, yes, I do still have visible scars. Scars don't and won't heal the same for everybody. As you can tell, I'm very white. I'm very, very pale. So I would assume that's why my scars have healed probably a little more red than maybe the average bear. I'm still pretty happy with how they look 12 months on. I have started putting bio oil on them to try and reduce the color. And yes, before you say anything, I did use the scar salve. I did use the scar tape that I was given, and I was very diligent with it. My skin just wasn't having it. But that's okay. Not my surgeon's fault. Preface. So, this is what they are looking like 12 to 13 months post-op. I'm very, very happy with them. The cleavage lines turned out amazing. So this is kind of a close-up of the scar. As you can see, there's a couple of little marks and everything through it. Obviously, there was quite a few stitches going on in there. But they're nice and smooth. They don't hurt. They're not sore. Same with the other one. Obviously, it is a scar. It's not going to be super pretty, but they have faded a lot and gotten a lot smoother since my last update. But at the same time, you can hide them. Even though my scars are still quite red, I still can hide them. My surgeons put them in such a good spot that if I want to, I can hide them. And the amount of people, I'll see if you can kind of tell without showing off too much. If you were just looking at me, and I'm 5'1", mind you, so most people don't even notice. The amount of people that have said to me, are your boobs real or are they fake, is kind of a joke. So that's how I know my surgeon did a fucking incredible job, and I'm very happy with them. But most people don't even realize I have scars unless I'm like, yeah, look, they're fake. So I'm so not worried about my scars though. It's just a scar, and yes, they're fake. It's not the end of the world. You can't even see it. That little scar just there, that's my fat grafting scar. Like, you can't even see the scar. I'll kind of show you how they move as well. So obviously they're a lot softer now. Nice and jiggly. They don't exactly like they're still fake, okay? They're still fake. They're not gonna move like natural boobs. I'm not gonna do this and they're not gonna fly around everywhere. Just put it out there. But they're gonna move like fake boobs. Sometimes I do wish I got the round implant. If you want more of that round top cleavage, I would suggest getting round implants instead of anatomical. But I thought there's probably gonna come a time in my life in the next 10 years, which is how long they typically last, 10 to 15. I'm probably gonna get over the fake titty look. You know what I mean? But yeah, super, super happy with them. Give you a bit of a side profile. To recap, I was an 8A, I'm now an 8DD. I got 330 cc implants with 40 mils of fat either side. I am typically an Australian size 6, and if this helps anyone, which isn't important, but I thought it might help because it helped me, I'm about 53 kilos, 5'1", so quite a petite gal, but I do have quite an athletic frame. I could have gone bigger, kind of glad I didn't, because I do struggle to fit still between a 6 and an 8 depending on the top. But overall, very happy. So I think that concludes the video. Hopefully I answered all your questions plus anything extra. If you have any questions at all, feel free to, again, leave it in the comments. Always check them, always reply. Just want to say a huge thank you for all the support on my last video. Anyone that liked, commented, it means a lot to me, being only my first video. Makes me pretty excited, and I want to keep doing more of these. If you have any video suggestions, anything you want me to do, answer, more than happy to leave a suggestion because I would love some help. Yeah, just wanted to say big thank you, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Well, sooner than the last one. Bye.